So this is my second time recording this because the first time around, the mic sounded like it was underwater. So,
please help me.
Wonderful. But anyways, welcome to World Cup 2022 qualifying so far, where we see how qualifying is going in every single confederation. If we can get this video to 200 likes, that'd be cool, but let's get right underway. So I'm going to start off with the OFC just real quick, and not because New Zealand aren't actually going to win, it's actually because the OFC qualifiers haven't happened yet. There have been multiple delays that have resulted in this being the case, and now OFC are asking FIFA if they can hold their qualifying competition in Qatar in 2022 in March, which would then, as a result, move the Intercontinental playoffs to June. Will New Zealand win again? Yeah, probably, but this does bring up another issue when it comes to the conversation of a World Cup every 2 years. If one of your confederations is a complete mess, how do you expect this to work out? Now on to UEFA, where this is the last international window before the playoff round. Currently, Germany and Denmark have already won their groups, so they have automatically qualified for the World Cup. After the end of this window, another 8 group winners will join them in the World Cup, and 10 runner-ups will advance into the second round, the playoff round. And along with those 10 are actually 2 of the best Nations League group winners that didn't finish first or second in their group. Group A right now is a race between Portugal and Serbia. Portugal has 2 more matches remaining. Ireland away, where last time they faced, Ronaldo stole the win in the last 5 minutes, so Ireland are definitely going to seek some revenge. And then after that would be Serbia at home, and that will be Serbia's only match of the window. Even if Portugal do beat Ireland, if Serbia can beat Portugal, Serbia automatically qualify for the World Cup. But if Portugal win both of their matches, including the one against Serbia, Portugal will automatically qualify, with Serbia going into the second round. Group B, we currently see Sweden having an advantage over Spain, by just a little bit though. Both teams still have 2 matches remaining. Spain have Greece, and Sweden have Georgia. Now, assuming that Spain and Sweden both win their matches, the last match sets up a heavyweight battle between Spain and Sweden. So whoever wins the Spain versus Sweden match will automatically qualify for the World Cup. If there is to be a draw, however, Sweden automatically qualify. But don't count out Greece. They haven't been eliminated just yet. Group C sees both Italy and Switzerland tied at the top. They actually face each other in Rome in the second to last qualifying match. And of course, whoever wins will overtake their opponents and more than likely automatically qualify. Now, if the 2 teams draw in that match, things are still very much up in question. Italy's last qualifier is Northern Ireland, and Switzerland's is Bulgaria. If Italy win their last qualifier, they win the group. Switzerland's best chance is them winning or drawing and Italy losing. Group D looks like France is going to win the group. They haven't even played their strongest squad, and they're still racking in points. There is an interesting battle for the playoff spot between Ukraine, Finland, and Bosnia. Each of those teams has 2 matches remaining besides Ukraine, who are at a little bit of a disadvantage. If Finland are to win out their next 2 matches, they advance to the second round. But if Finland loses 1 match and Bosnia wins out both of their matches, Bosnia goes through. Finland and Bosnia do play each other in this window, which could be a massive decider. A draw in that match, though, gives Ukraine the most hope, just as long as they beat Bosnia in their last match. However, Ukraine have only won once and drawn 6 times, so it's not like winning's very common right now.
Go, go, go!
Group E, much like France, Belgium will more than likely win this group. And I could talk to you guys about the battle between Wales and the Czech Republic for second place, but there's no losers in this case, actually. Because as I've said before, the 2 top Nations League group winners who didn't finish first or second after the end of this round still qualify. For the second round at least. Group F, Denmark has already qualified, but second place is still very much up for grabs. This battle is between Scotland and Israel. If Scotland can beat Moldova, which, you know, come on. They qualify for the second round with no worries having to face Belgium in their last match. But if Scotland manage to draw or even lose to Moldova, that opens the window for Israel. Group G's 3-way battle for the top spot, I could literally write an essay about how many outcomes there are. And so because of that, I'm just going to sum it up, because I really do not want to talk about 60 bajillion outcomes. The 3 teams in question for the top spot are first place currently Netherlands, second place Norway, and third place Dark Horse FC. If the Dutch win out their next 2 matches, they automatically qualify for the World Cup. Simple as. The other 2 teams will need the Netherlands to at least lose 1 match to have a chance to grab the top spot. But as this is a 3-way battle, this means 1 team will leave this window completely empty-handed. Group H is much like Group A and Group B, a little heavyweight battle to set up the final match day. Russia and Croatia are the only 2 teams that remain, with Russia at the top. In this heavyweight battle, assuming that both teams win their first match, Croatia needs to win, because if Russia wins, wins or even gets a draw, they automatically qualify, with Croatia going into the second round. Group I has still a lot of contenders. However, first place England would somehow have to choke worse than they have ever choked before to somehow not qualify. Their next two matches though are Albania and San Marino. I really doubt that happens, but you never know. The race for second place is a lot more fierce though, between Hungary, Albania, and Poland. Hungary would have to win both of their matches to even have a slight chance of advancing to the second round. Albania would either need to win both of their matches and see a Polish loss, or win one match and see two Polish losses in order to advance to the second round. And finally, all Poland would need is simply to win both of their matches, or even just win one of their matches and draw another, because their goal differential is by far superior. And finally, we have Group J, where Germany have already qualified. It may have been a little bit questionable, especially after that 2-0 win against Liechtenstein, but they're in the World Cup, which now leaves a four-way battle for second place. Iceland would need to win both their matches and also have everything else go their way in order for them to advance. Now, Romania, on the other hand, have, I guess, a simpler job. If they win both their matches, well, they advance. Armenia would need at least a win to have a chance of qualifying for the second round, and that's the same for North Macedonia. However, Armenia have to play Germany in this window, which makes things significantly more difficult. It's time to talk about Asian qualifiers. With 6 matches remaining, both Iran and South Korea will more than likely automatically qualify for the World Cup. Lebanon are the surprise here, as they're currently 3rd place. And might I add, they are the lowest ranked team in this qualification round. UAE, I thought, were the favorites to be 3rd place, but right now they're a bit disappointing. It should be mentioned though, the top overall scorer of the World Cup qualifiers is striker Ali Mabguts of UAE. I don't think this gets talked about enough, but this man has 78 goals in 96 caps. Now over in Group B, Saudi Arabia are completely undefeated. They've won every single match so far, and Australia are just right behind them. But what really is the biggest surprise in the Asian qualifier so far is the fact that Oman are currently in 3rd. Early on, Japan has struggled quite a bit. They actually lost against Oman in their very first qualifier. But Japan have bounced back with a win against Australia, and this wasn't just any win, this was a win that broke Australia's record-breaking run. The Japanese against Australia look like their old selves, so could this be the bounce back? Now you might be asking yourselves, Maxwell, why are Vietnam so bad? Listen, Vietnam recently allowed fans back in stadiums. We are going to beat Japan. We are going to beat Saudi Arabia. The dream is not dead yet. I will say though, the next time we face up against the citizenship merchants, we're beating them. No question. It's time for CONCACAF, the region I live in. Mexico are currently 3 points above 2nd place United States, with 3rd place being Canada. The top 3 have 2 matchups in this window, with the US versus Mexico on November 12th, and Canada versus Mexico on November 16th. For Mexico, this could either backfire or could be the instance where they cement themselves in the World Cup for next year. And I will say, I looked at the Mexican squad call-ups. That attack is gonna make me piss myself. US supporters are still in the state of, I don't know what the hell to think about this team. Or at least that's just me. And like every squad announcement, Greg Berhalter has yet again caused a firestorm in USMNT Twitter. After Mexico, the US will also play Jamaica, so here's me hoping they don't overlook Jamaica. Now Canada are placed 3rd, as I've said before, and their fans are experiencing probably the best football that the Canadians have ever seen. And it kind of helps out when you have the best player in CONCACAF right now, Alphonso Davies, and an informed striker in Jonathan David, who is carrying Lille right now. Aside from Mexico, the Canadians will also face the senior citizens of Costa Rica. Panama are currently in that 4th place position, which would be the Intercontinental Playoffs. Their next 2 matches, though, are Honduras, who look absolutely terrible, and El Salvador. So if they play their cards right, there's a possibility they could jump into 3rd. Antonio is in the Jamaican squad this window, I'm pretty sure, and so is Leon Bailey. So maybe we'll see Jamaica pull off a win or 2. Also, special mention to El Salvador. I wouldn't particularly count them out because they have some pretty decent young talent, and they also have the best atmosphere in CONCACAF at the moment. Let's talk South America. CONMEBOL. There's 6 matches remaining in CONMEBOL, and the table looks extremely tight. Brazil and Argentina are basically pulling away. They are still yet to play each other though. The first matchup was actually suspended, but they do play against each other this window. But as I've said before, it's pretty tight below them. There's a 5-point gap between 4th and 9th. Uruguay, who are currently 5th right now, hope to bounce back. They had just faced the 2 powerhouses in the last window. They again have to face one of the powerhouses in Argentina, but after that, they don't face anyone too threatening. Ecuador currently sit 3rd, but 3rd isn't really that much of a safe spot at the moment. They are still yet to play Argentina and Brazil, and actually Ecuador's last qualifier is Argentina. Not really that ideal. Colombia, on the other hand, are 4th, just a point below Ecuador. They too still have to play Argentina and Brazil, but if they can scrap some results here or there, their last match is Venezuela. Best case scenario there. Chile are going to need to max out on points in their next couple of matches because their last 4, 3 of them are Argentina, Brazil, and Uruguay. Now, Peru are 9th right now, and I probably wouldn't mention them if it weren't for the fact that multiple Peruvians have commented on that one Vietnamese video. But 11 points to their name. They're not exactly out of it, but, you know, 7 losses, it doesn't really help anyone. And finally, African qualifiers. Now things have actually changed up a little bit since the last format, because now, much like UEFA, except without the runners-ups, there'll be 10 groups and 10 group winners, and those 10 winners will advance to the playoff round, which will determine 5 that will be going to World Cup 2022. The officially advanced so far is Senegal and Morocco. Algeria and Burkina Faso play against each other in their last qualifying matches. So long as both teams don't drop points prior, this match determines who advances, but more than likely it will be Algeria. Tunisia in Group B will more than likely advance. They have scored 8 and conceded none. In Group C, Nigeria did face a shock result against the Central African Republic, but I still don't doubt that they get out of that group. Group D, though, is a little bit more interesting. Assuming both Ivory Coast and Cameroon don't drop points in their first qualifying match of the window, that'll set up yet another heavyweight battle. And of course, whoever wins that match wins the group. Group B is much like Group D, but this time it's between Mali and Uganda. Group F has Mo Salah in it. I don't think I need to say anything else there. Group G sets up yet another fantastic closer. This time it's between Ghana and South Africa, so that'll be very interesting to see. And then we finally have Group J. It's pretty much every team for themselves. It is likely these teams play only to be battered, but this group is at least to be admired. And that is every single Confederations qualifying so far. Very interesting scenarios. We will be seeing some teams qualifying in this window. Some exciting stuff. But a massive thank you to our patrons, Daniel Ortiz, Victor, Lewis, Emmett Shea, Dominic Griffin, Joseph Bonfante, and Tomicus. If you want to join the Patreon, there's a link down below and at the top in the annotations. I don't know why I'm speaking like this, but yes. You can follow my Twitter if you want for some video updates and my meals. Follow my Instagram if you want. Follow my TikTok, trying to get to 3,000. And you know what? I actually streamed. But don't worry, the next time I'll be streaming is in the next 5 months. So if you want to follow my Twitch, you sure can. But until then, I'll see you guys.